Assassin's Creed Origins has leaked with an image that you see right now, but we are going way more in depth on this rumor and also what we kind of hope to see in this game. Hey, Zach.
Hey, how you doing? This is actually a long-term prediction that we had going for a while now, and it's sort of
Well,
built up
you
over
had
time.
going.
Well, you also added on to it as well. In December, I looked at we had a
Oh,
video that we discussed it because the financials from Ubisoft came out,
mm,
and their overall vision and everything pointed at more multiplayer-oriented games. So
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And that Watch Dogs was, of course, first a single-player game. Well, they did have some multiplayer aspects, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and now in the new one, you can really play it co-op. So, what were now? Let's like introduce the rumor if you haven't heard it. Over on Reddit, a user suddenly posted a picture of what's supposed to be the new Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed Origins. First to be rumored Assassin's Creed Empire, of course, by Kotaku that leaked it 1 year before. The game is coming out later this year on PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, of course. They skipped 1 year and now they're coming back with Assassin's Creed. But yeah, it will be in Egypt. But, and this is what's interesting, and that's what kind of what you were hoping for, and what you
Mm-hmm.
kind of saw happening, is that they were also probably going to explore different time zones. That we're not only going to be in Egypt, but also, yeah, in that what Assassin's Creed is, of course, yeah, what's cool about Assassin's Creed is that you get to explore awesome different time zones, but also the real world. But we never had a game where you were just hopping between different time zones, and this seems to be happening right now. So that's pretty
Exactly.
cool. And Eurogamer confirmed this rumor. Assassin's Creed Origins image is real. So what you're looking at right now seems to be real. And yeah, it's supposed to be announced in at the end of May. So it's going to be pretty interesting. But yeah, we kind of said it already. Ubisoft is really looking at making games more surface based, so that they release the game but then add a lot of content onto it later on, also with multiplayer. Of course, we kind of saw this already with Assassin's Creed Unity, that also had a co-op mode, but then with Syndicate they kind of stepped away from that because that was only single player. So it seems to be that they're now kind of looking at what Watch Dogs did with, they also had, of course, the Gold Edition, the Season Pass with new content. They're even going to do a full free roam mode for 4 players, so that should be interesting. But maybe we're also going to see that with Assassin's Creed, right, Zach? That you can maybe explore the world with multiple people. What do you think?
Yeah, that's exactly what I think they're going to do. I think it would be a massive, massive missed opportunity if they didn't do that. Because if you think about what the rumor is, that it's multiple timelines, different areas of the world, that just basically just screams to me, especially since they're like, oh, there's gonna be 2 different, playable characters as far as like male, female. They didn't specify, the rumor didn't specify whether or not those are actual characters that are predetermined, like in Syndicate, or if they're customizable. If they're customizable, that could definitely lend to a more online experience where you're able to customize a male character, and then your friend customize a male character, and then that way there's 2 characters that may have the same voice, or maybe they do, separate voices, like 2 voices that are in like a cinematic, and you can maybe play the entire campaign or multiple storylines together. Like that would be such a great thing, because one of the things that Assassin's Creed has had an issue with, especially recently, is that when you play an Assassin's Creed game, the main narrative isn't strong enough for how long it is. And so if they cut that up into multiple narratives over multiple areas that you can play with a friend, that would create a situation where people feel like they get a ton of value from your game because you get multiple stories within the game with your friends, so it's social across multiple different areas, so it feels fresh every single time you swap to a different area. Plus then it's Ubisoft, so of course I have to bring this up. Then they could bring in some microtransactions if they want to. I know
They
people
already did it, of course.
yeah, I know people will be mad at me for saying that, even mentioning that they, might or maybe should do that. But that's, of course, what Ubisoft would most likely do if this is a particular scenario where this actually comes true, fully comes true. We already sort of know that it's going to be a multiple timeline. That's pretty much already solid, set in stone. But we don't know the multiplayer aspect. That's sort of what we're predicting here. and that stems from the fact of their current sort of method of their madness. You know, we see For Honor, you saw it mentioned Watch Dogs 2, we saw The Division a while back, Rainbow Six Siege, everything
Ghost
that
Recon Wildlands.
Ghost Recon
kind of also
Wildlands.
changed from a sort of more grounded co-op game to an open world co-op game.
Yeah, the
So-
Crew. Basically every game that's recent from them has had an element of multiplayer in it to some degree. And so it just would make 100% sense that they would announce something like this either before E3 or at E3, because that would be a mega announcement, I think, especially if they show that off on stage. Oh, I can join a friend, and now we're both in the cutscene, and we're both talking at the same time, and we both are customized characters, so we don't have to worry about looking the same. Like, that would just be really cool, especially for an Assassin's Creed fan like myself.
Yeah, totally. And we are kind of like already speculating that. I mean, the rumor also suggests that it will be announced like later this month with a full reveal at E3. But maybe it's also too interesting to see where they will show it. Like, where do you think they will show it? Like Microsoft or Sony? Because yeah, I think that Ubisoft of course has their own press conference. They will do an in-depth demo there, but I think they will also maybe show one part of the game, like that they were really. I mean, they don't want to say, okay, this game is now multiplayer only. They still want to have a lot of the single player people in there as well. Otherwise, all these Assassin's Creed fans will be kind of angry. But maybe they will just do, okay, at the Ubisoft press conference, we will show the single player. But at the Microsoft or the Sony one, we will focus on the multiplayer. So where do you think, apart from the Ubisoft press conference, Assassin's Creed will kind of shine?
I think it's definitely going to be Microsoft for the basically the reason that the Scorpio is the most powerful machine out of in the console space. So that will hide a lot of the technical issues that the game will have this early on, and maybe just it will have at launch. Because I mean, let's face it, it's a Ubisoft game. But that also just in my mind right now, I already hear the announcement. Now, with Assassin's Creed, you can take your friend along in the story, powered by Scorpio. You know, like that typical marketing slogan and sort of speak. I can just definitely hear them already saying that. Of course, with what Project Scorpio's name will actually be. Oh, powered by whatever. So yeah, I think it's definitely gonna be Microsoft, because that will give them good momentum and just allow them to sort of dominate E3 in terms of keeping Assassin's Creed really relevant.
I mean, there are multiple things why I think that it's Microsoft. One, Sony has deals for multiple games this holiday, so to have it for Assassin's Creed as well, maybe kind of a little bit too crazy. I mean, they have Battlefront 2, Red Dead, still slated for fall, fingers crossed, Destiny 2, Call of Duty. So to have Assassin's Creed there as well would be interesting. With a Syndicate, they were preferred platform, so they had some sort of extra pre-order DLC and stuff like that going on. I think the secret like mission, one mission was PlayStation exclusive or something like that. While with Unity, it was more Xbox. So that's kind of interesting to see that they kind of switched over to PlayStation, but might be switching back for this one. It's also that Microsoft need games, like they need stuff to show. And they will not get Call of Duty, they will not have Destiny, they will not have Red Dead if that's going to be at E3.
Yeah.
They need something big, right? And I think that Assassin's Creed will totally be the case.
And that's why I think that it would be Microsoft. It's just the extreme lack of stuff that Microsoft is facing right now. They just don't really have a lot to really fill a show like Sony does right now. So this would definitely help them in that regard. And it kind of makes me think maybe it might also end up on Sony's, just like maybe show up on both of them, like an extended gameplay demo on one and then a trailer on the other. But it's not really a thing that happens, right? It's
right.
They're
picking one or the other.
Exactly. But the only reason why I mentioned that is because Black Flag was famously shown on the Sony conference back in 2013, where Black Flag froze during the conference, and they had to reboot it, I think, is what ended up happening. So it's a toss-up of where it might end up, but I'm leaning definitely more towards Microsoft because of the density of games that Sony already has. I just don't think they'll have time to really do this right in terms of what Ubisoft wants.
Yeah, totally. I think so as well. And I mean, they will have, of course, their own showing, but it's great to also have a partnership with one or the other.
Of course,
And Ubisoft is going to do more games. Maybe they will like have Far Cry or something, the rumored Far Cry game, be at Sony or something like that. It will be super interesting. But let's look a little bit at Assassin's Creed. So they also say that there will be naval combat. From what I read, I don't know if this is true, but the guys that made Assassin's Creed Black Flag are making this game, and I think Assassin's Creed Black Flag is one of the most loved Assassin's Creed games because they did not have a lot of the bullshit where you went back to the modern day and stuff like that. It was just really focused on cool gameplay. You were a pirate, and they really did that well. And now the first screenshot we see, of course, it's also including naval combat. So it looked like that will be returning. So would be not really weird if the guys behind Assassin's Creed for Black Flag would make that. What else do you want to see from this game apart from the multiplayer? Of course, that would be really cool, but also some other improvements. I mean, you played Syndicate, right? I kind of skipped that one.
Yeah, I played Syndicate, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't beat it, though, because I just couldn't really get super into the story, but I did like the progression of where they were going with Assassin's Creed again, and so that definitely made me hopeful for a new one, that they would take that further, making it so it's way more playable for me to really want to get into it and complete that storyline. But and I probably will eventually hop back into Syndicate and finish it because it's a really well done game. It's the story just didn't really strike me as much as other games at the time, and so I kind of just threw it to the side. But looking back at the Black Flag, review wise, Metacritic wise, it basically did about as good as Assassin's Creed 3. I mean, I don't think it was like revolutionary to Assassin's Creed fans because there was a lot of people like myself who really despised the ships. I really did not like that aspect. It didn't feel like an Assassin's Creed game. It felt like a pirate game, and that's not what I want out of Assassin's Creed. So I hope, my biggest hope is that since they definitely have ships, I hope that there's not a large focus on them. That it's mainly just sort of like some traversal stuff. You can maybe do some optional quests for it, stuff like that, but it's not like a main thing. And I really, the biggest issue that I have with the current modern day Assassin's Creed is their pacing. The pacing just is very rugged. There's a lot of moments where there's not a lot of exciting things going on. You're just doing a lot of fill stuff that doesn't really feel impactful. I saw that with Unity. I saw that with a little bit in Syndicates that I played. I played about 10 hours of Syndicate, and I've seen a good bit of that. I just want more dense story, better writing from the storylines. That way I feel more invested, or I feel like I want to get more invested in the world once again. Because back in Assassin's Creed 1, Assassin's Creed 2, with Altair and also Ezio, I really felt that I was connected to those characters. And I have not felt a connection to my character ever since Assassin's Creed 2. And so I really hope that they fix that and they really make me feel invested in the series again, because I've been longing for a good Assassin's Creed game once again, like a really, really good one, like one that I just feel like, wow, this is really what they should have continued with after, number 2 with the Ezio storyline. So that's what I really hope for it, and I'm hopeful, but we'll have to wait and see how grand this game is, because they said it's the biggest one. So
Skyrim,
Skyrim size. So we'll have to see.
I mean, they took an extra year. That's of course great.
That's
but
true.
Still,
yeah, definitely.
It will be super interesting to watch. Maybe we'll discuss it when it gets announced. And I think that Assassin's Creed will launch in October because November is already really crowded, and Assassin's Creed normally launch in October. On the other hand, though, they also, one time, I think with Unity it was, or with Syndicate, I think it was Unity, they delayed it like a week before, like they put it like a few weeks later, and still it was broken. So they, of course, and they already said this multiple times, we will release this Assassin's Creed when it's ready. So that could also mean 2018. But I really think they are, of course, hoping for a holiday title. And October, there are no games, as far as I know, like real AAA big games slated to release in October. The first one that is coming out is Call of Duty, and that's the beginning of November, then Battlefront 2. So yeah, I think October is a safe bet, but we will probably hear more at E3. For more discussions about E3 and other stuff, subscribe to the channel. Zach, thanks a lot, and like the video if you did, and goodbye.
Goodbye.